That's just the reality. But for me, especially in my role now, it works to my advantage. I get to speak Spanish. I'm in the Latino community. I know the difference between a Mexicana and a Puerto Riqueña and a Colombiana and a Guadalupeña. You know, some people don't know that. They don't know that some people make arepas from corn and some people make arepas with flour. They don't know that. Or frijoles or habichuelas, right? So it's all of these things, honestly. So all of these things really work to your own guiso, your own guisado. All of those little things that you never think about. In this role, in the multicultural world, and the world that we're realizing que el mundo es como un pañuelo, as they say. I mean, I never knew what that meant. It's like, what? Like the world is like a handkerchief? What is that? I didn't get it. And I said,
You will get it.
Right. It didn't, but now I understand with age, with experience. And now, because there was a time when I refused to let my Latino self show through. There was a time when that was the case. When I wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't want to, I didn't want anybody to know that I was Latina. I was like, hello, come on. Look at me. I look like a pure Latina, but there was a period of time where that's not the direction. I went to Long Island University on Long Island. The majority of the population was not Latino. I went to a Catholic grammar school in the Village. The majority of the population not Latino. So I wanted to be like everybody else. And wanted to assimilate and just be another American. But now, and over the last 15, 20 years, and I think it became more pronounced, frankly, when I had kids. I don't know if that happened to you or... Once I had kids...
Acculturation. There's a term for it.
Once I had kids, it became extremely important for my kids to learn about the Latino culture and to speak Spanish. So as a result, that was their first language, Spanish. But until then, I didn't realize the value. And I'm sad to say that, but that's the truth. I'm sad to say that. Even though I majored in Spanish and broadcasting, whatever, todavía no tenía ese gustito, esa afinidad para la isla, for Spanish, for the culture. And now my husband, who is not even Latino, but he thinks he is, he's like, can we move to Puerto Rico? I'm like, you have a job in Puerto Rico? No, we cannot move to Puerto Rico.
Oh my God.
We have time for one more question.
And don't ask me, it's because I talk too much. I think we have one in the back.
Okay. Go ahead. Right there in the back.
I wrote mine down just to make sure that I was clear on it. What professional development or coaching do you recommend as a showstopper that we should all focus on? For example, public speaking, 360-degree, or Dale Carnegie's How to Close a Deal. Like, what would you say for each one of you? Just one that you would really recommend from a professional development standpoint.
Before, could you tell us who you are, your name, where you work?
Sorry. I'm an Ashimba member, and my name is Elizabeth Herrera.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What I would recommend is that you focus on leadership development, so people leadership. As you move up the ranks for your career, you will certainly be managing people. And I remember the first time I took situational leadership, it was really a great framework to help me as a new leader of people start to feel more confident about the things that I could do and how to manage people. And over time, I've taken the same class, situational leadership, again and again. So I would say, anything you can do to hone your skills around people leadership would be great.
You want to add?
I would say public speaking. especially in the virtual world that everybody is leaving. I tell my kids, get up on the stage. And they look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, Mom, I talk to my kids virtually. I think that, if I think about Jack Welch and how his positioning of leaders and how important communication and fellowship and leadership is, if you are not comfortable on the stage, get comfortable on the stage quickly. Because your career depends on it, one way or another. I think leadership is learned. Some people have it a bit more intuitive than others. But if you're afraid of the stage, I don't know that you go much further than a career at your desk or virtually. My opinion.
Yeah, I spent 8 years as an executive coach. So in the course of my 30-year career as an HR professional, I spent 8 years as an entrepreneur and executive coach. I don't know that there's one thing you focus on necessarily that's going to be the game changer for you. I think you really need to understand what are the things you struggle with the most that are a challenge for you as a first. Second, what does your role entail? I think a lot of people try to put themselves in circumstances and positions that really aren't their strong suit. So understand what your strengths are. Understand how do you leverage your gifts effectively. And then the third thing that I would actually add in, because it isn't one thing, and this actually might play to the question about being Latina in the environment, whether that's enough of a difference. I have a personal philosophy that what makes you different is actually the genesis of alchemy. So it's how you make a difference. What makes you different is where you begin to build value. It makes a difference for your organization. It may not be being Latina. It may be how you think. It may be how you approach things or your points of view. I grew up very much centered and oriented around being Latina. Being female, being black, being Cuban, Puerto Rican. But the one thing I hid until I was 38 years old, and I didn't disclose to anyone until I became Chief Diversity Officer the first time, was that I was gay. So there are things that bring huge value that we sometimes hide because we are uncomfortable with it. But it's not until you get fully comfortable with yourself that you know how to leverage what makes you different. And that gives you another lens from which to see something that others won't see in that environment, they won't fully understand, and can bring new value to what you're doing.
Okay. Great, perfect. One more. Oh, sorry, right there. Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Graciela Carrillo, and I work with Unilever. I just wanted to add also to Juanita's question, and I know diversity is very high on the agenda of companies today, but from being part of their agenda or their strategy to coming to being infused into the company's culture, I guess is a really big step. So have you ever considered maybe starting an affinity network in your company and possibly being a leader to bring that, to infuse that at Xerox? So just food for thought. That was something on my mind. And my question for you guys is, well, first, amazing. Tonight has been amazing. It's my first Nashimba event, and I'm very glad that I came because I heard Latina leadership, and I had to be here. But as Anna mentioned, Latina leadership, and there's so few Latinas in VP roles, director roles, and do you guys have a thought of, and possibly aha action in your careers where a light bulb went off that brought you from somewhere where, like I am, in the entry level of my career, to aspiring to be a Latina leader one day, a mover, a shaker, a agent of change like yourselves. So is there any possible tips, career tips that you might want to share with us?
Something that I want to say before you let's take a stab at that question is that we need more Latinas and Latinos CEOs. I think VP it's one step to the next. So I just want to add that we need more CEOs, we need more owner of companies, we need more people at that level. So we definitely need to aim higher, as you said. Now go back to the question. Would you like
I think we have a whole other session to lead for you. And I thank all of you, those of you who are Nishimba members, and hopefully those of you who will be, because as a member of the National Board of Directors, there's tremendous pride and human capital and social capital here. To your question, inside of my career, there were numerous inflection points, but perhaps the one that I've spent a good deal of time doing executive coaching around was recognizing that for many of us, our focus is around how we build technical acumen in the work we do. That's a given. That's table stakes. If you're technically not sound in your discipline or distinction, you're going to have a struggle. But in your career, there are going to be a number of inflection points. There will be the inflection point when you rise into a role that's managerial, that is about how you lead other people, how you bring out the best in others. And then there's yet another inflection point, and sometimes we don't see it. And that's where we struggle. That's where we sometimes get stuck. And that's where the ceiling kind of settles in. And that inflection point is the inflection point of how you influence others. The leader, the executive, the CEO does nothing alone. They do it through others. And their social networks have value unto itself. So there's the intellectual capital you possess. There's the technical ability you possess. But your influence skills is actually what enables you to mobilize agendas, to have others subscribe, enroll in what you're doing and wanting to be a part of it. So as you put together your performance objectives for the year, there are things you say you're going to accomplish in your performance. Add another dimension to that. Think about the individuals that you're going to accomplish those results with and through. They become mentors, they sometimes become sponsors, but more than anything, it enables you to start extending your network beyond the realm of people you probably already interact with regularly. We know who we talk to every day. We talk to our friends and we talk to our family and we talk to the people we're comfortable with. But if you're going to reach a lofty objective, you're probably going to have to work with someone you haven't worked with closely before. How are you going to enroll them? How are you going to get to know them? How do you build trust? Leaders have huge reach. And that's the difference that I've seen as a real game changer in the career. Some people are really good at what they do and they get to do it for a really long time. Leaders get to do many things because they learn how to connect the dots, they know how to connect people, and they know how to work across systems, organic systems, organizational systems, and hierarchy. They actually get to transcend hierarchy and have broad reach. So that's what I've seen as a coach, and it's something I apply in my career, and it's something I work with my colleagues to help them understand as they're developing when they seek out advice around how do I go from A to B or A to C, because careers are no longer linear. So one day you may be working with someone who's your peer who becomes your boss tomorrow, and the month after you're their boss. But the individual who's agile enough to manage that is going to have very strong relationships and have huge trust networks, and that's the social capital of the executive.
Thank you so much. And with that, I want to please big round of applause for the panel. It's all yours.
Well, I'd like to thank you for being panelists today. Rosanna, thank you very much. Carlos, thank you. Claudia, thank you. Deneen, thank you. Anna, thank you very much. Before we close, I'd also like to thank Macy's, Maria Macy's, Oscar, and American Express. I also want to thank my team members in Nishimba. Can you stand up, guys? I'd like to mention also that there is a board member who's now out in San Francisco, Eduardo Ramirez, who without Eduardo's help, we really couldn't have put this together. So a big hand of applause for Eduardo. And with that, networking reception begins. And thank you all.